Welcome everyone to a special series I'm thrilled to be hosting here on LinkedIn called The Entrepreneur's Chair. During this series, my goal is to provide you with authentic and intimate conversations with trailblazing entrepreneurs that are reshaping the Austin business scene. From startup founders to seasoned business moguls, we're going to dive deep into conversations about their triumphs, their challenges, and pivotal moments that have shaped who they are as an entrepreneur. I'm thrilled today to introduce our guest, Heidi Arndt. She is the founder of Evolve Dental Advisors. She has more than 2 decades of consulting and advising emerging mid-market and elite DSOs. Heidi previously served as CEO of Strive Dental Management, a private equity-backed Austin, Texas company where she successfully led the company through a transaction and equity sale. Prior to that, Heidi founded and successfully exited 2 companies, Enhanced Hygiene and Enhanced Practice. Throughout her career, Heidi has participated in and hosted several leading industry events, including Evolving Group Dentistry Conference and Dental Group Evolution. She has also served as the chair for the Education Committee for the Association of Dental Support Organizations, where she was responsible for establishing the curriculum for ADSO's membership events. Welcome, Heidi.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Well, we are thrilled that of your investment in time. Thank you.
My pleasure.
So Heidi, you have an amazing career, very impressive. You had successful exits. Now, what made you want to start Evolve Dental Advisors after your last exit in 2021?
Good question. You think I'd want to take some time off,
Yeah.
which I did.
Okay.
I've been in dentistry since the age of 17, and I love dentistry. Everything from being a clinician to being a CEO, every step of my journey has been such a wonderful part of my life and has fed so many great experiences and working with amazing people. And when I left Strive, I had to look at my entire career. And I thought, you know what? There's something that's missing. I think there's a problem in dentistry. And what that problem is I believe that we're not spending enough time focusing on developing our clinicians. Mm-hmm. So as the industry has grown and there's a more focus of dental service organizations coming into the picture, mm-hmm. which there's multi-site, and they've grown rapidly over the years. Mm-hmm. The focus has been so much growth over buying practices, and I think we've lost focus on developing our people and our clinicians, which directly impacts our patients. So that's what's driving me today, and that's why I started Evolve Dental Advisors, because I know I can make an impact in dentistry that will serve us for years to come.
That's very impressive. Love that. Now, you've led companies through these exits, so what do you see as some of the critical factors and lessons that you've learned along the way?
Wow, there's so many lessons. Yeah. I don't even know where to start.
Sure.
If I can think of just one thing, it's you have to really be focused on why you're selling. I know we all think about the money at the end, but there's got to be another reason why you're selling. Mm-hmm. It can't just be the money. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't worry about the final numbers, because those are really important, that you get paid the value of your business. But you need to think of what is your goal? What's the goal, the legacy of that business? Where do you want it to go? And the other thing too is Strive. I had, hundreds of team members, and I had to think about what I wanted for their future too, mm-hmm. not just mine, because I'm making a decision that's going to affect a lot of lives, and I want to make sure that I am giving them the best path forward.
Sounds like you're a very core value-driven person.
I would say I am. Thank you.
And it's so important, because at the end of the day, it's all about people. And I think sometimes people forget that. And, if we invest in them, we get what we want.
Grow your people, grow your business. That's what I always think of. Yeah.
Well, and going back to your statement about the exits, I was at a conference recently, and the gentleman speaking said that 75% of companies, or the founders, or whoever was leading the company, a year after an exit, had regret that they actually had sold the business. Have you ever seen that with other organizations?
I felt it.
Did you?
So with my first exit, it was, the company that I founded.
Yes.
And have you ever heard the term selling your baby?
Yes.
That's what it felt like. I didn't think that I'd have any regret in the transaction at all. And it set in really early that I felt like I sold my baby. And I didn't realize how much of my personality was also part of the business. I thought it was just completely separate, but it was very life-changing for me. And I have to tell you, it was not easy.
It's interesting because I ran a company for 10 years that was acquired, and there was a true sense of loss. Yes. It was like, who am I now, and what do I do? And
it was like a grief process.
Yeah, yeah, very, very interesting. Yeah. So from your perspective, I mean, you've been in this industry, you've seen probably a little bit of everything, but are you seeing trends or common challenges that DSOs are facing? And then what's your approach to addressing some of these?
The current challenges that we have right now, they're kind of twofold. One is, the economic headwinds that we're facing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of DSOs that are struggling today financially, some that have closed their doors, some that have, the bank has taken them over, which is hard to see. And I have a lot of, opinions on why I believe that's happening. But the other huge issue we have is, like a lot of businesses, workforce. The workforce challenge is hitting dentistry hard, especially with doctors and other clinicians like hygienists and even assistants. There's a shortage. We're not graduating enough providers every year to make up with our baby boomers retiring. Also, the rate of turnover is really high. And so that is really fueling a lot of the concerns that we see in dentistry today. And probably the number one thing that you would hear from anybody in the dental industry today is workforce challenges.
Well, thank you for sharing that. So you've put a lot of energy out in the universe, positive, and one of the things that you've done is launching the Evolving Group Dentistry Conference. I can't imagine what a big undertaking that was and is. What motivated you to do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm just 1 month after having, well, actually we're almost on 2 months. My inspiration is this, people said initially, why are you starting another conference, Heidi? There's so many DSO conferences, which is a good question. However, every one of those conferences is really focused on scaling your business from almost an acquisition focused standpoint. Okay. Everybody's been trying to scale their business by what I say, buy an EBITDA. You're always buying a new location, but nobody's been truly focused on the people and understanding the gap that exists in every single one of these DSOs. And it's closing the gap between executives and the front line. There is a huge gap there. And it makes sense. Like, the agenda from the executive team is trying to get translated down to the front line, but it's never getting fully translated. And the front line has issues, and they're trying to translate a message up, and there's a huge gap because the two parties are not aligned. And my goal with the conference is to align those two and educate people in dentistry of how to align their teams, how executives can work together with the front line to improve the patient care they provide.
So it sounds like you're pretty clear on the impact that you want to make on this industry.
Impact is the big word, yes.
Very good. And I'm assuming to get to the place that you are today, you had some mentors and influencers that helped you along the way. Can you share a little bit about that and some of the lessons learned?
Yeah. I think some of my earliest mentors were ones that I worked with when I was a clinical hygienist and really encouraged me to continue to grow. When you graduate from hygiene school, you just believe that you are going to be chairside caring for patients, which I thought would be my life. But they opened up doors for me that I never knew were possible. And leading into leadership, roles that I never thought I'd be a part of, and really changed my career. And just the encouragement I got along the way was something that's changed my life. And I think you have to also be a sponge to receive that. Mm-hmm. And these people allowed me to expand. They allowed me to fail. They allowed me to learn. So that was important. And then as I progressed, I've had some amazing mentors outside of dentistry that I've worked with that have given me new concepts and new ideas of thinking about business and the world and expanding my reach and my impact. So I've had so many along the way. You look at, I can't even name just one person because mm-hmm. there are so many.
Yeah, it's exciting to see you've been open to receiving all this guidance from others, but then seeing how you manifest that to give back. And I've experienced it, in our WPO meetings, and you're willing to give of your time to others, and that's so generous.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. So the other thing I get excited about is when I have someone with your depth of experience and range looking into the future. What are the innovations that are coming for DSOs and the dental industry as a whole?
The one thing that I'm really excited about is AI, which is probably the common answer that you're hearing a lot, but I love it in the regards to patient care. Okay. So right now with AI, there's a lot of new things coming, but the one that I really like is the way it is assisting doctors in diagnosing a treatment. So in other words, they're able to overlay AI on a dental radiograph mm-hmm. and identify areas of concern, and it highlights it. Not only does it help the doctor, but it also helps the patient see it, because they'll highlight an area of where decay is or maybe an infection, and helps the patient see firsthand what the doctor sees so they understand the care that they should be receiving. So it doesn't take the place of a doctor in any way, but it's just another way to add on another opinion, if you will, to what should be, diagnosed and recommended. And I love it too with younger doctors who are trying to learn their skill mm-hmm. still and get confidence in diagnosing. It's like a little mentor by your side trying to, assist you. So I'm really excited about that. I know there's more to come, but that's what gets me super excited.
That's so great to hear, especially when you start thinking about the shortages, and it's more about how do we increase the effectiveness of limited resources.
Right, exactly. And it's really about improving the patient experience as well. There's one thing that I know too, when I go to the dental office, I don't know how well they're doing it. Well, actually I do, but most people do not know how well they're doing the procedure.
Sure.
They have no idea, or they don't even know when a doctor says you have decay here. They can't really see it. But with this AI technology, they can see it. They can see it on the way it highlights it over the radiographs, exactly the area that needs to be treated. So it's it's good for the patient.
Yeah, focusing on the positives of AI in a specific, I can see how it could be very powerful.
Absolutely.
So I like to end each episode with a couple of questions for you. One, what authentically makes a successful entrepreneur?
Oh, that's a great question. I have so many thoughts on this.
Well, so let's hear them.
Well, let me think first.
You got it.
Where are you going to make an impact? Yes. Impact is my big word. I want to impact dentistry. I don't want to go to work every day just to do a task. I truly want to create an impact in the industry. And so everything that I've done as an entrepreneur is how I can impact the dentistry and how I can impact patient care and people's lives. I love developing people. And so everything that I do is how can I help people? And that's really how I've built my businesses. Now I know for other entrepreneurs it's different, mm-hmm. But that's been what fueled me.
That's awesome. Kind of leaving a footprint out there for yourself.
Great way to put it, yes.
So, and the last but not least, how do you define success as an entrepreneur?
Gosh, it goes back to the last question.
Yeah.
It's impact for me mm-hmm. as well. that's what defines my success. If I can make an impact in dentistry, and I'm not sure exactly how I measure that, but in my heart, I know when I am making an impact, when I can get on the stage and share some amazing information that I know the audience can take and implement back into their daily practice or their lives, to me, that's impactful. I think we've all felt that, an impact from other people, and if I can take the impact I've received and share it with the rest of the world, I feel like I've been a success.
I love how clear you are on your purpose. So congratulations on an amazing career and more to come. So thank you again for spending time with us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Heidi.